All right, so the AI revolution is definitely here. And look, if you're feeling a little bit lost in this tidal wave of information, you are not alone. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to show you how to go from feeling overwhelmed to feeling totally in control, and how to turn AI from this confusing thing into your own personal co-pilot.
So this is the million-dollar question, right? Is AI this amazing tool, or is it just another headache? You've heard all the hype, that it can craft personalized lesson plans, solve crazy hard problems, you name it. So you dive in, full of optimism, and then the results are just kind of meh. It feels like you end up spending more time fixing what the AI gave you than if you'd just done it yourself from scratch. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you are definitely in the right place. The reality is, while AI is pretty much everywhere, it's in our search engines, our social media feeds, getting it to give you exactly what you want is a real skill. It's not magic. It's a whole new way of communicating, and it requires a new way of thinking. And this quote, man, it just perfectly captures that feeling. It comes from a recent paper about a special education teacher, Mr. Kim, who was super excited to use AI to help his students. But instead of saving him time, he just got stuck in this endless loop of tweaking and retweaking prompts. His story is such a powerful reminder that it's not about just having the tool, right? It's all about knowing how to actually use it.
Okay, so let's get into it. The first big mistake a lot of us make is thinking that AI just means one thing, like ChatGPT. But that's kind of like thinking vehicles just means a Toyota Camry. The AI world is this huge toolbox, and it's filled with all sorts of specialized tools for very different jobs. And just look at all these different options. I mean, you wouldn't use a paintbrush to hammer a nail, would you? It's the exact same idea here. If you're just brainstorming, yeah, something like ChatGPT or Claude is fantastic. But if you're trying to dig through academic papers, you need a specialized tool for that, like Elicit. Want to practice a new language? An app like Lengua is going to be way better. The key takeaway here is simple. Matching the right tool to your specific task is step one for getting better results. But here's the thing. Even with the perfect tool, you can still get really frustrating results. And that brings us to the main point of this whole explainer. The single most important skill in this new age of AI isn't about which button you click. It's about learning how to talk to the AI. It is all about the art of the prompt.
And this skill actually has a name. It's called prompt engineering. Now that sounds super technical, but I promise it's not about coding. It's all about communication. It's just the process of carefully crafting your instructions, your prompts, to guide the AI toward that brilliant idea you have in your head. You got to think of yourself less like a user and more like a director. The AI is your very talented but very literal-minded actor. So what actually makes a good prompt? Well, it's definitely not just a one-line question. It's more like a recipe with a few key ingredients. You've got to be crystal clear about your goal. You have to give it the necessary background and context. Then you give it specific instructions, and then you can get fancy. You can add powerful layers like asking the AI to take on a certain role, or setting constraints like a word count, or even giving it an example of what you want. The more of these things you throw in, the better your output is going to be.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how do you remember all of that in the moment? How can you possibly build the perfect prompt without, memorizing a giant checklist every single time? Well, lucky for us, some smart people have come up with some really helpful frameworks to make it easy.
And one of the best ones out there is called the IDEA method. It was actually developed to help teachers and students get the hang of AI, and it's simple, it's easy to remember, and it is incredibly effective. So, IDEA is a 4-step process. First, you include all those essential components we just talked about. Second, you develop the prompt with clear, simple language. Third, and this is important, you evaluate what it gives you and then refine your instructions. It's a conversation, not a command. And finally, you apply the output, but you do it responsibly. For now, let's just really zoom in on that very first step, include. Honestly, if you can get this part right, you've already won half the battle. This is where you build the entire foundation for a good conversation with your AI. And there's another fantastic little acronym to help you remember what to include. It's PARTS. For every single prompt, just think through parts. P is for persona. Tell the AI to act like a historian. A is for aim. What's your goal? R is for recipients. Who is this for? Fifth graders? PhDs? T is for theme. What's the tone? Formal, funny. And S is for structure. Do you want a table? A bulleted list? Using this checklist turns a fuzzy request into a super precise set of instructions.
All right, let's wrap this up by talking about a really powerful shift in mindset. See, the goal here isn't to find some magic button that does all your work for you. It's about changing your perspective. You are the pilot, the AI is your co-pilot. It's a tool designed to boost your own abilities, not to replace them. And this difference is absolutely critical. When you see AI as a replacement, you're basically asking it to think for you. But when you see it as an augmentation, you're using it to help you think better. It's the difference between saying, write this essay for me, and saying, critique my first draft, suggest some counter-arguments, and help me make my own ideas stronger. One approach replaces your skills, the other makes them way better. And remember, as the pilot, you are always responsible for the final destination. You have to be critical of what the AI gives you. Verify every single fact and statistic. AIs can and absolutely do make stuff up. Ask yourself, is this one-sided or is this a balanced view? Make sure the logic holds up and watch out for any emotionally charged language. The AI is a powerful tool for sure, but your brain is the final essential filter.
So we've gone from feeling totally overwhelmed by AI to seeing it as a really diverse toolbox. We figured out that the real key to unlocking its power is the art of the prompt, using simple frameworks like parts to give clear directions. And most importantly, we've reframed our relationship with it, not as a substitute for our own intelligence, but as a powerful co-pilot to help us fly higher. So the only question left is, where are you going to ask it to fly next?